Vi here, and in this video we will go over weapon crafting. First, I'll cover the basics of weapon crafting. Expect to see this exact clip in all the weapon crafting videos, so skip ahead if needed, though it would help me if you watched it all. As always, if you find this helpful, leave a like on the video, comment and subscribe as it will help me out. All weapons have a chance of rolling one out of up to 3 passive talents, so you'll always receive one thing like 5 to 13% extra damage against a goblin as the example. The talents can be seen over here. Now, depending on the success of your weapon crafting, you can get anywhere between 5 to 8% on the passive. If it's a great success, this value increases from 11 to 13% for the passive you got. Another thing is the sockets on a weapon. This can be seen over here. All weapons have a 100% chance of getting one socket, whereas any additional socket is determined by the success of the weapon crafted. So for an example, if my weapon had a great success when I crafted it, I would have a 50% chance of it being a 3-socket weapon. Or at least that's how I interpret this graph. It's all honestly a little confusing, but in-game it's not necessarily as complicated as I make it sound probably. Another thing about weapon crafting is all weapon archetypes will use the same materials. So a bow uses the same material as a sword, etc. In the top right, we can use tickets and rolling balls to increase the success rate of getting a great success when crafting. The baseline of a great success is 25%. So, in an ideal perfect scenario, we would want a great success that grants us 4 sockets. With the passive, we would want such as Goblin Slayer with a max roll of 13% damage increase. So pray to RNGesus that you get the ideal perfect scenario at endgame. Anyway, let's craft some of these weapons and see our own luck. Terrible luck aside, you don't need the perfect ideal scenario. This is only for people who are interested in min-maxing. Here's an example of my frostbow with 4 sockets, a mid-roll of 12%. But the passive isn't great. Another form of RNG is the plugins that go into sockets can range anywhere between 1-star and 5-star. So for a true perfect ideal scenario, 4 sockets, 13% of the passive you want, and 4 5-star plugins of your choice. Plugins can boost your damage for skills, reduce cooldowns, etc. Hey skippers! Here's how to craft the level 40 weapons. The first thing to be mindful of is there's 4 of them, and they all require you to be at least Adventure Rank 8. If you're not Adventure Rank 8, I do have guides going over adventure ranks, so be sure to watch them if you need it. Starting with the light attribute weapon, the first material, as is tradition, requires us to complete a dungeon. The dungeon we need to complete is the Borum Ruins. Pretty simple, do this a couple times, and that's it really. The second material needed is Elder Goblin Staves from the Calm Terraces area, which is found in the first map. I recommend teleporting from the top and just running down towards it if you don't have the teleporter unlocked at the bottom of the cliff. The goblins you're looking for are the mages, and you can find them here. This is also a decent experience farm spot. The third material, as is tradition at this point, is raw crystals, which can be found simply by gathering stones anywhere. Now moving on to the flame weapon. Our first material comes from the God's Obstetrician Dungeon, which should be shown on screen. The second material comes from Goblin Warriors in the Feeling Water Pond area, or whatever the name is in English. That's found on the second map in the top left, roughly in the center of the zone. The goblins you're looking for are these yellow ones, if I'm not mistaken. Once again, this also a decent experience farm spot. Third material is ring stones, as always can be found by gathering stones in the world. Now moving on to the electric weapon, the first material comes from the Sanctuary of Blessing dungeon shown on screen. The second material comes from rock lizards in the Garley Road area, which is the third map's bottom left zone. The rock lizards can easily be found near the water of the area. Generally, they're near the teleporter at the bottom of the zone. Third material is raw crystals, shocker, right? Moving on to the frost weapon, our first material comes from the ruins of the Great Tower dungeon shown on screen. The second material comes from landhawks in the returning dust zone, which can be found on the top of the desert map. The hawks can be found near the top right of the area as a somewhat rare spawn. If you head up north from the hawks, you should also find the bear guys, who are also great experience farms. Last material is ring stones, which can be found from rock gathering in the world. Anyways, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Please leave a like, consider subscribing, we are so close to 1,000 subscribers, and comment down below, as all of this helps my videos get out there. Sorry for the sloppy editing on this one.